More spinners! Alright, so I know what the title says, and yes, all of these spinners I'm about to review were totally free and provided to the channels for the purpose of making this review. Now, I did not expect this kind of response, and I was honestly kind of confused when I had like 5 different companies contact me asking me to review their spinners. I'm not even sure if I'm doing an awesome job of reviewing these spinners. Spinners are these weighted ball-bearing type fidget toys that you can play with. If you've seen them at school, they drive some people crazy. Other people, they really relieve like ADHD symptoms and stuff like that. For me personally, I'm definitely a fidgeter, which is why I'm a tinkerer as an adult, and so I like having one in my pocket for things like waiting in line, and when I live stream, I almost always have one of these. It leads to some really weird footage where I'll be like sitting in front of the camera playing the game and doing something like... It's not what it looks like, just playing with a spinner. Anyway, so a bunch of companies reached out and wanted me to review their spinners, and I said, why not? And I was kind of confused by the response until I saw that through that Amazon link, I've sold like 300 or 400 of these things to you guys. So spinners must be way more popular than I thought that they were. That's crazy. You guys have helped me pay for groceries this week. The Amazon links are referral links, guys. Obviously. So let's get right into it. These are the first 3 spinners that arrived from the batch of spinners that I'm supposed to review. So we will start with the cheapest. This is by B Grit, and all of these will be linked down below. But inside we get this. It's got 4 ball bearings, what appears to be thumb screws, and a body. Now the body is ultra cheap plastic, but again, this is not a particularly expensive spinner. Compared to the Brass Victorum, I'm not entirely sure if I can tell you this one's a great deal, because this seems pretty generic. So the ball bearings come in 3 in silver and 1 in black. So they're also covered in grease, which is good. I guess they'll spin well. The last thing in the package is the thumb screw, or the button as it's been called. Let's go ahead and, oh, that doesn't even screw, that just friction fits together. Awesome. So putting this one together should be pretty easy. We'll put the one that is different. One of these things is not like the others. One of these things goes in the middle. Yeah. We'll try and fit this together so you don't even need anything to like vice grip these into place. The other ball bearings just serve as weights on the edges. Now, in theory, you could also use them to spin it if you really wanted. I guess you could grab those, and now if you have large enough hands, you could asymmetrically spin it, which does, to be fair, give a decent sensation. The question, of course, is how good is this ball bearing going to be if the spinner itself is that cheap? Now, this doesn't want to go together, so I brought a vice grip. There we go, and perfect. Alright, so this spinner is pretty smooth. The bearing is actually not that bad. In fact, it's doing a really good job of keeping up its centripetal acceleration. That's surprisingly nice for one that costs this little. Like, it's a good sensation. Of course, the black plastic isn't handsome. It's a very unattractive aesthetically spinner with the exposed metal bearings being the weights. That's opposed to one like this, which is of course a high quality spinner which has a special metal button and has the weights set into the resin. So this was designed clearly to be aesthetically pleasing. This was designed with pure cost function analysis in mind. But it spins very nicely, and it seems like it would spin for a while. We're just going to go ahead and set it off to the side next to that one. Obviously this one is really loud. Maybe I've gotten this one dirty to the point that its bearings just need cleaning, but this doesn't spin very long at all. We'll leave the quiet one going though. Our second spinner is this one, and this one is interesting. It's a little bit more expensive. I think this one costs around 20 bones, but it's also, oh man, it's all plastic. So the entire build of it is plastic. Now, the balls are metal roller bearings, but they're not the thing that causes it to spin. It's just the weight in this one, and it's all sandwiched together. Looks to be ABS plastic, and that holds the balls into place. Now, they are all free moving, which means that if you really like rollerball mice, then you can totally like fidget with those as well. Almost like a fidget cube has a roller on it, these have 3 on either side. So it's completely symmetrical, of course. It's got 4 holes and then 3 balls here. It's kind of funky because as I look at it, I get a triple reflection thing going on. That's kind of weird. but I can't seem to get the button off of this one, so I can't tell you anything about the bearing inside. However, it's small, which makes it easy to spin. You could almost like spin it in one hand like so, and it gives you a really funky effect as it spins because the metal and the black plastic are playing off of one another. It spins pretty fast, a little bit louder than the all plastic one. The bearing is probably a little bit smaller, and it torques out of its spin very, very easily. We'll do one big spin off at the end here, but kind of cool. I'm not entirely sure if this one's worth how much it costs just because of how much it costs. I think that there are slightly better options on Amazon that are all metal, like the Victorum brass one that I showcased in the past, but it's unique, and if you really like that rollerball sensation, that's kind of cool about it.
Let's Beyblade!
More towers. Our fourth and final spinner is this one. It's called Hand Spinner Faster for More Fun. It is made by this Fox logo company, designed in MD USA. So while it was designed in the United States by Cunning Technology Solutions, I have a funny feeling this was also made overseas. That said, it's got the most handsome packaging so far, like shows up in this metal tin with a clear window here and some black felt that holds it all in place. Now, the spinner itself is gold, has the Fox logo on its thumbsticks, or whatever you should call them, and then its weights are all like rainbow and ooh. This one's nice, guys. The bearing is almost silent, it's very low friction, it's spinning very well, and it's giving a really funky psychedelic effect when those weights catch the light. Again, a lot like this one, in that its weights are recessed into it, but it's recessed into metal in this case as opposed to resin, so you get a very consistent effect there. This is probably my new favorite, not going to lie. So I will link, of course, to all of these in the description box below. I hope that you enjoyed this video if you enjoyed spinners, and if you don't enjoy spinners, I have no idea why you would have clicked on a video that was so obviously about spinners. But this has been a review of 3 spinners, some not very expensive, some slightly more expensive, and they're all doing more or less the same thing. So the differences and whether or not they are worth it are up to you. But I will put links in the description box to where you can purchase all of these if you so choose to pick up one of these. Again, there's also an entire other world out there of high-class luxury spinners that have like tritium and mods done to them. It's a little bit like Nerf that way, but these are pretty generic entry-level bits, and they're very, very neat. They all provide the same sort of sensation and distraction from whatever it is you may need sensating or distracting from. Much love, Nerf on, spin out.